Have you ever wondered why each new year feels like a chance to start over, yet so often we find ourselves falling into the same routines? Why do our goals feel so exciting in January but fade away by February? And most importantly, how can we truly make this year different? Imagine this. A man spends hours every day polishing a mirror, hoping to see his reflection clearly. But the mirror is covered with layers of dust that he never cleans. No matter how much effort he puts in, his reflection remains unclear. Isn't this how many of us approach change in life? We try to polish the surface without removing the inner barriers, old habits, regrets, and fears that keep us stuck. This year, let's take a different path. Instead of chasing temporary fixes, what if we focused on transforming from the inside out? Buddhism teaches us that true change doesn't come from adding more, but from letting go of negativity, distractions, and self-doubt. The new year is a perfect moment to pause, reflect, and begin again, not with pressure, but with purpose. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we uncover timeless truths to help you rise above the noise and discover your best self. If you're ready for insights that will transform the way you see yourself and the world, you're in the right place. Before we dive deeper, a small request. Did you know there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers subscribe? That's such a small number. If you enjoy what you see, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It's a simple click, but it means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you valuable content. This is just the beginning. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore how the teachings of Buddhism can guide you to release the weight of the past, embrace mindfulness, and step into 2025 with clarity and confidence. So stay with us. You won't want to miss a single step of this journey. Letting go of the past. Freedom through forgiveness. In life, there is a story of a monk who carried a heavy load across a river. His burden was so great that he struggled with every step. Yet, when he reached the other side, he looked around and noticed that another monk, younger and lighter, had crossed effortlessly. He asked, "Why did you not struggle with the burden as I did?" The younger monk smiled gently and said, "I left my load on the other side of the river. Why carry what you don't need?" And so it is with us. We often carry the weight of the past, our regrets, mistakes, and the wounds others have caused us. But what if, like the younger monk, we could leave that load behind? What if we could truly free ourselves from the chains of yesterday? The Buddhist teachings remind us that to hold on to anger, resentment, and regret is to carry a burden that only weighs us down. These emotions, though natural, can cloud our judgment and prevent us from seeing the world with clarity. They create layers of heaviness that prevent us from moving forward. When we hold on to past grievances, we become stuck in a cycle of suffering that only harms us. Imagine holding a hot coal in your hand, ready to throw it at someone who has wronged you. What happens? You burn your own hand long before you even reach your target. This is the nature of anger and hatred. The only person you harm by holding on to these emotions is yourself. And yet, we all have been there. We hold on to the past because it feels like it's a part of us, as if letting go means forgetting. But nothing could be further from the truth. Letting go doesn't mean erasing what has happened. It doesn't mean we ignore the pain, the hurt, or the injustices that we faced. But it does mean that we choose to free ourselves from being a prisoner of those experiences. When we forgive, we are not excusing the wrong. We are simply releasing the grip that it has on our lives. Forgiveness is a process, a deep, internal decision to release the control that the past holds over us. It is not something that happens overnight, but a conscious choice we make every day. It may start with small steps, acknowledging the hurt, feeling the pain, and then choosing not to let it define us. Over time, the burden of bitterness lightens, and we begin to experience a sense of freedom we never imagined possible. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is a natural part of life, but it also offers a path to end that suffering. One of the core principles is to understand that we are not the sum of our past. The past is only a collection of moments, and those moments are gone. When we hold on to them too tightly, we close ourselves off from the richness of the present. The future, too, becomes a blur because we are so tied to what has been. When you forgive, you free yourself to live in the present moment. You allow the space to heal, to grow, and to become the person you are meant to be. This is the power of letting go. Not only does it relieve the weight we carry, but it also opens up new possibilities for joy, peace, and growth. The act of forgiveness is not always easy, especially when the wounds are deep. But even in the deepest pain, the teachings of Buddhism offer us a path to healing. The first step is to recognize that forgiveness is for you, not for the person who hurt you. It is an act of compassion towards yourself. The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you forgive, you let go of the poison. This doesn't mean you have to forget or pretend the hurt never happened. It means that you no longer allow it to control your thoughts and actions. The more you forgive, the lighter your heart becomes. As you free yourself from the past, you create space for something new to emerge. True freedom lies in releasing the need to hold on to the past. Every time we forgive, we create a new opportunity to start fresh. Every moment is a new beginning, a chance to choose how we respond to life and its challenges. And with each act of forgiveness, we move closer to the wisdom and peace that Buddha spoke of. When you let go, you make room for self-love and self-compassion. This self-forgiveness is just as important as forgiving others. Many of us hold on to guilt or shame over our own past mistakes, believing that we are not worthy of peace or happiness. But the Buddha teaches that all beings are capable of enlightenment, and that includes you. We all make mistakes, but that does not define who we are. It is in our ability to learn, to grow, and to forgive ourselves that we truly find freedom. So, take a moment and reflect. What are you still holding on to? What part of the past are you carrying that no longer serves you? Is it time to let go of old grudges, past mistakes, or unhealed wounds? By choosing to release these burdens, you are not only honoring yourself but also creating the space for a brighter future. And as you begin this process of letting go, remember that it doesn't have to be done all at once. The journey of forgiveness is ongoing, and each small step you take brings you closer to the peace and freedom that are your birthright. Trust that the process is gradual, and with each day, the weight you carry will become lighter. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes courage to face the past and choose to release its hold over you. But when you do, you open yourself up to the possibility of true peace and happiness. You allow yourself to become the person you were always meant to be. In the coming days and months, you will face challenges, and you will be tested. But if you continue on the path of forgiveness, you will find that you are stronger than you ever realized. You are not defined by your past, but by the choices you make in the present. And as you choose to let go, you choose to live with greater clarity, compassion, and joy. So let this be your practice. Each day, take a moment to release the weight of the past. Breathe deeply and let go. With every breath, you are one step closer to the freedom and peace that are waiting for you. The more you let go, the more space you create for the new you to emerge, clear, free, and ready to embrace the life that is unfolding before you. Letting go is the key to unlocking your true potential. It is the doorway to a life that is not bound by the past but guided by the wisdom of the present. When you let go, you make room for everything you need to grow, to heal, and to become the person you are destined to be. The power of mindfulness, living fully in each moment. In the stillness of the moment, there is a great power. Yet, how often do we truly live in the present? Too often, we find ourselves lost in the past or anxious about the future, like a bird flying frantically from branch to branch without truly resting anywhere. But the moment we learn to be present, the moment we embrace mindfulness, we find peace. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware of where we are, what we are doing, and how we are feeling without judgment. It's not about achieving some lofty goal or mastering a skill. It's simply about paying attention. Imagine sitting by a river. You hear the water flow, you see the leaves drift by, and you feel the air against your skin. You don't try to control the river or chase the leaves. You simply let them be. This is mindfulness. In Buddhism, mindfulness is one of the most important practices. The Buddha often spoke about the four foundations of mindfulness: mindfulness of the body, feelings, mind, and mental objects. When we can bring awareness to each of these aspects, we begin to see things as they truly are, not through the filter of our emotions or preconceived notions. Imagine how different your day would be if you took just a few moments to be present in everything you do. When you brush your teeth, are you thinking about your to-do list? When you walk outside, are you distracted by your phone? Or do you feel the ground beneath your feet, the cool breeze on your face, the warmth of the sun? Being mindful is about embracing life as it is right now, without trying to change it. It's about being at peace with where you are. And when you do this, you begin to realize that life is not something to rush through, but something to experience. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is that suffering arises when we are not present. When we are caught up in the past, we may dwell on old wounds, regrets, or mistakes. When we are anxious about the future, we worry about things that may never happen. Mindfulness teaches us to release this grip and simply let things be. The simple act of being mindful can transform the way we approach life. When you are mindful, you stop chasing after happiness or success because you realize that both are already present in the simple act of being. The Buddha once said, "When you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky." This is the wisdom of mindfulness, realizing that everything is already as it should be. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of daily life, constantly moving from one task to the next. But mindfulness invites us to slow down and appreciate the moments in between. Whether it's sipping a cup of tea, listening to a song, or simply sitting in silence, mindfulness teaches us to fully embrace these moments, to savor them. A key aspect of mindfulness is acceptance. When we are truly mindful, we stop resisting what is. We stop wishing things were different and instead open ourselves to the present, just as it is. This doesn't mean we stop working towards our goals or striving for improvement, but it means we no longer live in a state of constant dissatisfaction or yearning. We learn to accept ourselves in the world around us as they are. In the busy world we live in, it can be challenging to find time for mindfulness. But it's not about finding more time, it's about making time. You don't need to meditate for hours to be mindful. You can practice mindfulness while washing dishes, walking, or even driving. The key is to be fully present in whatever you are doing. When you begin practicing mindfulness, you may notice that your mind often wanders. It will jump from thought to thought, constantly seeking something new. This is completely natural. The goal is not to stop these thoughts, but to notice them and gently bring your focus back to the present. Over time, this practice becomes easier and the mind becomes quieter. One of the benefits of mindfulness is that it helps us connect with our true selves. When we are present in the moment, we stop seeking validation from others or the outside world. We begin to understand that happiness and peace come from within. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we discover who we really are. Mindfulness also has the power to improve our relationships. When we are truly present with others, we listen more attentively, respond more thoughtfully, and create deeper connections. We are no longer distracted by our own thoughts or judgments. We simply listen, and in that listening, we build understanding and compassion. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just a practice, it is a way of life. It's about seeing each moment as an opportunity to learn and grow. It's about being fully alive, not waiting for the next moment or the next experience to bring us happiness. Happiness is found in the present moment, and mindfulness is the key to unlocking it. So, how can you bring more mindfulness into your life? Start small. Start by being present during simple tasks. When you eat, really taste your food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you speak, truly listen to the other person. Over time, these small moments will add up, and you'll begin to notice a shift in how you experience the world. As you practice mindfulness, you may also notice that your worries and anxieties begin to lessen. When you are present, you are not consumed by fear of the future or regret of the past. You are free from the constant chatter of the mind. You begin to see things clearly, without the filters of judgment or fear. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. It's not about being perfect or always being present. It's about the willingness to return to the present moment again and again. Even when your mind wanders, you can always come back. This is the practice. This is the path. Remember, the power of mindfulness is not in achieving something, but in letting go of everything. It's about releasing the need to control, the need to rush, and the need to be somewhere else. It's about finding peace in the here and now. As you move through your day, take a moment to breathe deeply. Focus on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Notice the present moment and let everything else fade away. With each breath, you return to yourself. With each breath, you return to peace. Mindfulness teaches us to be gentle with ourselves. It reminds us that we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to have all the answers. We simply need to show up, to be present, and to be kind to ourselves in the process. In the end, mindfulness is about living a life that is awake, aware, and full of presence. It's about being the observer of your thoughts, the experiencer of your life. It's about realizing that the present moment is all you truly have. And when you embrace it fully, you will find that it is more than enough. Embracing compassion, building meaningful connections. In the quiet of the mind, there is a truth that many overlook. Compassion is the gateway to healing. It is not a soft or passive emotion, but a powerful force that connects us to the essence of others and ourselves. Often, we spend our days wrapped in the belief that we must be strong, self-reliant, and independent. But in the stillness of our hearts, we realize that true strength comes not from pushing others away, but from opening up and sharing the burden of life with others. Imagine a tree standing alone in a field, its branches reaching toward the sky. It appears strong, but when the wind blows, its leaves fall, and it bends under pressure. Yet, when trees grow together, their roots intertwine, supporting each other against the storms of life. Just like trees, we are not meant to stand alone. Compassion is the deep root that connects us. Without it, we may stand tall for a while, but the winds of life will eventually wear us down. Compassion doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. It asks us to see the pain in others and recognize that it is not so different from our own. It is easy to love when life is smooth, but compassion becomes even more essential when things are difficult. The Buddhist teachings remind us that every being has its struggles, whether seen or unseen. The person we meet on the street, the friend we speak to, the stranger who passes by. They are all fighting battles we may not understand. Compassion is the silent acknowledgement of this truth. So, how do we cultivate compassion? It starts with our own minds. We must learn to soften our judgments, to quiet the inner critic that often judges others. In every person, there is a story, a reason for their actions, their choices, and their pain. We are all travelers on the same journey, each trying to find our way. When we open our hearts to this shared experience, we begin to truly connect. The first step in embracing compassion is to extend it to ourselves. How often do we criticize ourselves for making mistakes, for not living up to our own expectations, for falling short of our goals? Buddhism teaches us that we are all imperfect, and that is okay. We don't have to be perfect to deserve compassion. Just as we would never scold a friend for their imperfections, we must learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness. When we accept ourselves fully, flaws and all, we free ourselves from the burden of self-judgment. Once we have compassion for ourselves, we can begin to extend it to others. This does not mean fixing someone's problems or offering solutions when they may not want them. Compassion simply means being present, listening without judgment, and offering a space for someone to share their pain. In our busy lives, we often forget the simple power of listening. Just by giving someone our full attention, we offer them the gift of being heard and understood. And in that moment, we are offering compassion. But true compassion goes beyond just listening. It also means being there for others in tangible ways. Sometimes, this means offering a helping hand when someone is struggling. Other times, it may simply mean showing up, even when we don't have the answers or solutions. Buddhism teaches that compassion is not a one-time act, but a way of life. It is the gentle thread that weaves us all together. When we cultivate compassion, we are reminded that we are all interconnected, that the joy and suffering of one affect the joy and suffering of all. As we grow in compassion, we begin to see the world differently. We notice the people around us, their struggles, their joys, their hidden hopes. Compassion makes us more aware of the suffering in the world, but it also makes us more attuned to the beauty and goodness that exists everywhere. It shifts our perspective from one of isolation to one of connection. When we embrace compassion, we no longer see ourselves as separate from others. Instead, we recognize that we are part of a larger whole, each one of us contributing to the collective energy of the world. In a world that often encourages competition, comparison, and individualism, compassion stands as a gentle reminder that we are not meant to be in this alone. We are meant to lift each other up, to share in both the joys and the burdens of life. Compassion is the light that shines in the darkness, the warmth that melts the coldness of our hearts. It is a radical act in a world that often values achievement over empathy, speed over patience, and success over kindness. To build meaningful connections with others, we must first acknowledge that we are all imperfect beings. No one is exempt from pain, no one is immune to suffering, but through compassion, we create a space where people can heal, grow, and feel understood. This is the foundation of all deep and meaningful relationships. It is the foundation of a society that cares for one another, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to help. When we embrace compassion, we find that we are not alone in our struggles. In the act of reaching out to others, we realize that we are also receiving. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates a ripple that touches the hearts of those around us. This is the beauty of compassion. It multiplies, it spreads, and it transforms. True connection is born out of understanding. It is born out of the willingness to see the world through someone else's eyes, to feel their pain as if it were our own. This is not always easy. It requires vulnerability, it requires patience, and it requires an open heart. But when we allow ourselves to truly connect with others, we discover a depth of joy and fulfillment that can never be found through superficial interactions. The Buddha taught that all beings desire happiness and want to avoid suffering. Compassion is the path that leads us to this shared truth. When we embrace compassion, we are not only changing the lives of others, but we are also transforming ourselves. In each act of kindness, in every moment of empathy, we step closer to the true nature of who we are. As we move forward in this new year, let us commit to embracing compassion in all its forms. Let us start with ourselves, recognizing our own struggles and offering ourselves the kindness and understanding that we deserve. Then, let us extend this compassion to others, not as a duty, but as a way of life. When we choose compassion, we create a world where people feel seen, heard, and valued. In the end, compassion is the thread that binds us together. It is the force that heals wounds, both big and small. It is the key to building meaningful connections and living a life that is truly fulfilling. Let us step into this year with hearts full of compassion, ready to make a difference in the lives of those around us. Breaking the cycle, transforming habits that limit you. In the quiet of a Zen temple, a disciple asked the master, "Master, how do we change the habits that hold us back?" The master sat quietly for a moment, then spoke, "Change is not found by force, but through awareness. We change not by fighting the habit, but by understanding its roots. We all have habits, don't we? Some are small, some are big, but all have the power to shape our lives. Yet, many of us carry with us habits that limit us, that prevent us from growing or becoming the person we want to be. These habits might be as simple as procrastinating, as complex as constantly seeking approval from others, or as hidden as our inner fears and doubts. But here is the truth that many people forget. You are not your habits. You are the awareness that sees them. To change, you must first recognize that you are the observer of your habits, not the victim of them. When you are stuck in a habit, it feels like you are trapped. The habit becomes an endless loop, but the reality is that you have the power to step out of it at any time. In the teachings of Buddhism, we learn about attachment. The reason we struggle with habits is because we are attached to them. We are attached to the comfort they provide, even when they hurt us. Maybe the habit gives us temporary relief, like eating when we are stressed or avoiding difficult conversations. But just like the lotus that rises from the mud, change begins when we detach from what no longer serves us. Think of a river. If you throw a stone into the river, the water will move around it, and the stone will remain in place, blocking the flow. Our habits are like that stone. They block the natural flow of our lives. We may not even realize it, but they are creating unnecessary obstacles in our path. But just like the river, when we let go of the stone, the water flows freely again. This is how transformation happens, by releasing what blocks our natural flow. One of the greatest keys to changing habits is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be fully present with each moment, without judgment. When you are mindful of a habit, you stop reacting automatically. You see the habit for what it is. A moment of mindfulness is like a light shining into the darkness. It reveals what has been hidden and gives you the chance to make a conscious choice. When you begin to practice mindfulness, you start to see the patterns in your habits. Maybe you notice that you eat when you're stressed, or you avoid difficult tasks by distracting yourself. These habits are not just random. They are learned behaviors. The good news is that because they are learned, they can also be unlearned. The key is not to force the change, but to gently guide your attention toward healthier choices. Buddhism teaches us to observe our thoughts and feelings without attachment. We are not our thoughts. Thoughts come and go, just like clouds passing across the sky. If you begin to watch your thoughts with curiosity, without judgment, you'll begin to notice the stories you tell yourself. These stories often shape the habits you hold. For example, if you believe, "I'm not good enough," you might develop habits that keep you from trying new things. But when you see that this belief is just a thought, not a truth, you create space to choose a different path. Another essential practice is self-compassion. Often, we remain stuck in unhelpful habits because we are too harsh with ourselves. We tell ourselves we are weak or incapable of change. But the Buddha taught that the path to wisdom begins with kindness toward ourselves. When you mess up, and you will, be gentle. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would give to a friend. This kindness will create the foundation for lasting change. Patience is another cornerstone of transformation. Habits don't change overnight. It took time to form them, and it will take time to break them. The path to breaking old habits is not a sprint, but a steady walk. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every step forward. But remember, even a small step in the right direction is progress. The key is to keep going, even when it feels hard. A powerful practice to break a limiting habit is to replace it with a new one. This is not about forcing yourself into perfection, but about choosing to practice something different. If you have a habit of reacting with anger when things don't go your way, try replacing it with a moment of breath. The next time you feel angry, pause and take 3 deep breaths. This simple practice disrupts the automatic response and opens space for a new habit. You can also try setting an intention. In Buddhism, the power of intention is emphasized. Setting an intention is like planting a seed in the ground. You water it with small, consistent actions every day, and over time, it grows. Instead of focusing on, "I need to stop procrastinating," set the intention, "I will take 1 small action every day." It is these small, deliberate actions that add up to lasting change. Another helpful tool is accountability. Tell someone about the habit you're trying to change. Sharing your goal with a trusted friend or mentor creates a sense of responsibility. But remember, it's important to surround yourself with people who will support your growth, not those who will judge or criticize you. A supportive community can help keep you on track when things get tough. Finally, let's talk about gratitude. It may seem unrelated, but gratitude is incredibly powerful in breaking the cycle of limiting habits. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you shift your focus from what's missing to what you already have. This shift in perspective reduces the pull of habits that are rooted in lack or fear. When you are grateful, you naturally gravitate toward habits that support your well-being. Changing habits is a process, not a one-time event. It's a journey of self-awareness, self-compassion, and mindful action. There will be challenges along the way, but remember this. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your higher self, you are breaking the cycle. You are creating a new habit, one choice at a time. The Zen master once said, "The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists." Your strength lies in your ability to adapt and grow. By recognizing your habits, understanding their roots, and replacing them with more nourishing choices, you free yourself to become the person you are meant to be. The path of resilience. Overcoming challenges with grace. In life, challenges are inevitable. Like waves that crash against the shore, they come and go. Sometimes, the waves are gentle, and other times, they can feel overwhelming. But no matter their size, the key to resilience is how we respond to them. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties. It's about facing them with strength and grace, embracing the lessons they bring, and rising above them with a calm heart. The first step in becoming resilient is understanding that life is not always going to go the way we want. There will be moments when everything seems to fall apart, when we feel lost or defeated. But it is in these very moments that we have the opportunity to grow. Just as a tree grows stronger in the wind, so too does our character grow when faced with adversity. Buddhism teaches that suffering is a natural part of life. The Buddha said, "Life is suffering," and this simple truth is not meant to bring despair, but to awaken us to the reality that we cannot control everything. What we can control is our response. When we accept that challenges will come, we begin to shift our focus from resistance to acceptance. This is the foundation of resilience. When faced with difficulty, it is easy to become overwhelmed by emotions. Anger, frustration, sadness, and fear can cloud our judgment and make us feel helpless. But the key to resilience is learning to step back from these emotions and observe them. Instead of identifying with them, we learn to recognize them as temporary visitors. They come, but they also go. By not allowing our emotions to control us, we regain our power and stay grounded. One of the most important practices in building resilience is mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present, to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we are mindful, we are not swept away by the storm of emotions that can arise in difficult situations. Instead, we are able to remain centered and respond with clarity. This allows us to act with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. In every challenging situation, there is an opportunity to practice patience. Patience is not simply about waiting. It is about cultivating the inner strength to endure hardships without losing our peace. Just as a mountain stands firm against the wind and rain, we too can stand firm against the storms of life. Patience helps us to remember that everything is temporary and that no matter how hard things seem right now, they will eventually pass. Another aspect of resilience is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when we face difficulties. We may criticize ourselves for not being strong enough, or for not handling the situation better. But self-compassion reminds us that we are human. We are allowed to make mistakes, to stumble, and to struggle. Just as we would comfort a friend in a time of difficulty, we must also offer the same kindness to ourselves. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we build the inner strength to face challenges with an open heart. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is through acceptance. This doesn't mean resignation or giving up. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation and making peace with it. When we accept that things are as they are, we stop wasting energy on fighting against the inevitable. This acceptance frees us from unnecessary stress and opens up space for solutions to emerge. Acceptance is not about passivity. It is about recognizing that we cannot change everything, but we can choose how we respond. It's also important to remember that we are not alone in our struggles. Everyone faces challenges, though they may look different for each person. Just as the sun rises every day, so too will our difficulties fade in time. But in the midst of our struggles, we can find strength in community. Sharing our burdens with others can lighten the load. We can lean on our friends, family, or even a spiritual practice to help us stay strong. No one is expected to endure life's challenges alone. Resilience is also about remembering our purpose. When we are faced with difficulties, it's easy to lose sight of why we are on this path. But having a clear sense of purpose can help us navigate even the most difficult times. Whether it's our desire to help others, to grow spiritually, or to find inner peace, holding on to our purpose gives us the strength to continue moving forward. Every step we take, no matter how small, brings us closer to our goal. In Buddhism, we are reminded that suffering is not something to be feared or avoided, but something that can be transformed. Through the practice of mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance, we can use our challenges as a stepping stone to greater wisdom and understanding. Just as gold is purified by fire, so too is our inner strength forged through the trials we face. As we walk the path of resilience, we learn that it is not about being invincible or immune to pain. Instead, it is about being flexible and adaptable in the face of life's ups and downs. Resilience is not a fixed trait, but a skill that we can cultivate with time and practice. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to find balance in chaos, and to rise every time we fall. One important lesson in resilience is learning to let go of perfection. In a world that often expects us to be flawless, it's easy to feel inadequate when things don't go as planned. But the truth is, resilience isn't about being perfect. It's about being human. It's about embracing our flaws and mistakes and learning from them rather than letting them define us. Each setback is an opportunity to grow, each failure a chance to become wiser. A resilient mind is a flexible mind. It is open to new ideas and experiences. It does not cling to the past or hold onto rigid beliefs. When we allow ourselves to be open, we become more adaptable to change. This flexibility gives us the strength to weather any storm, knowing that we can always find a way forward, no matter how difficult the road may seem. Resilience also teaches us to live with intention. It is easy to get caught up in the rush of life, reacting to everything that comes our way. But when we live with intention, we act with purpose, and every choice we make is guided by our deeper values. This intentional living helps us stay grounded even in the midst of chaos. It is through living with intention that we find peace, even in the most challenging times. In conclusion, resilience is not something we are born with. It is something we can develop. It is the ability to face life's challenges with a calm mind and an open heart, to rise after every fall, and to find strength in adversity. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, acceptance, and self-compassion, we can build resilience and transform our difficulties into opportunities for growth. Life will always have its challenges, but with resilience, we can face them with grace and emerge stronger than before. The wisdom of simplicity, finding peace in less. In life, we often fill our days with more work, more possessions, more opinions. We believe that the more we accumulate, the more complete we become. But what if the key to a peaceful, fulfilled life is not in adding more, but in learning to live with less? Think of a garden. A garden that is crowded with too many plants cannot grow well. Some plants take too much space, others fight for light, and soon, nothing thrives. But when the gardener prunes the excess, removes the weeds, and makes room for the plants that truly belong, the garden flourishes. In the same way, when we remove the clutter from our minds, hearts, and lives, we create space for what truly matters. Buddhism teaches that simplicity is a path to clarity. It encourages us to strip away the unnecessary, to focus only on what nourishes the soul. This doesn't mean giving up everything or living a life of deprivation, but rather recognizing that less can be more. When we stop chasing every desire, when we let go of the constant need for more, we discover a deep sense of peace and contentment that cannot be found in material things. The constant pursuit of more comes from the belief that we are not enough. We think we need more possessions to feel worthy, more validation to feel seen, or more achievements to feel successful. But in truth, we are already enough, just as we are. When we recognize this, we begin to shed the unnecessary layers that cover our true nature. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you chasing after things that don't bring you lasting happiness? Are there areas where you're holding on to excess, whether it's physical clutter, emotional baggage, or unnecessary commitments? Simplifying your life might not happen overnight, but it starts with awareness. A powerful practice in Buddhism is the act of letting go. Letting go is not about abandoning what we love, but about releasing what weighs us down. In the same way that a river is not full of rocks, our hearts are not full of worries. To find peace, we must learn to flow, to let go of the unnecessary burdens that we carry, and to move with the current of life. In today's world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the noise around us. The constant bombardment of information, expectations, and distractions can make it difficult to hear our own inner voice. But when we simplify our lives, we create space for silence, space for clarity. In that silence, we can hear our true desires, our purpose, and the wisdom that resides within us. Simplicity is also a practice of mindfulness. When we are fully present in the moment, we no longer feel the need to grasp it more. We appreciate what we have in this moment, and we realize that this moment is enough. It is enough to breathe, to experience the world as it is, without needing to add anything to it. In this space of mindfulness, we are free from the constant pursuit of more. Living simply is not about being rigid or austere. It is about choosing what truly matters and letting go of what distracts us. It's about aligning our actions with our values, and our values with our deepest truths. It is about living in harmony with the world around us, free from the clutter of unnecessary desires. To begin embracing simplicity, ask yourself, what can I let go of today? Is it a material possession, an unfulfilling relationship, or perhaps a negative thought pattern? As you begin to declutter your life, you will notice that space opens up, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. You will feel lighter, more at ease, and more connected to the present moment. One simple way to practice this is through mindfulness in your daily actions. When you eat, eat with full attention. When you walk, walk with full attention. When you speak, speak with full attention. In each moment, ask yourself, what is truly important here? What can I release to make room for what matters? Simplicity also teaches us to value what is truly meaningful. In our relationships, we don't need to have countless friends. Instead, we focus on nurturing the few deep, authentic connections that bring us joy and support. In our work, we don't need to chase after every opportunity. Instead, we focus on the tasks that align with our purpose and contribute to our growth. The beauty of simplicity is that it brings us back to the essentials. We begin to recognize that happiness is not found in more, but in less. It is found in being fully present with what we have right now. Simplicity allows us to connect more deeply with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. When we simplify our lives, we stop running from one thing to the next. We stop trying to fill the empty spaces with distractions. Instead, we learn to sit in stillness, to embrace silence, and to find contentment in just being. This is where true peace resides. As we move through this year, let us remember that simplicity is not a destination, but a journey. It is a practice we return to every day. Each time we simplify, we come closer to our true selves, and in that space, we find peace. So, will you simplify today? What will you let go of, so that you can make space for more of what truly matters? In the end, simplicity is the key to living a life of contentment and joy. It frees us from the chains of desire and allows us to live in alignment with our deepest truths. When we simplify, we create a life that is full, not of things, but of meaning. And that is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. Inner strength, balancing the mind, body, and spirit. The mind, the body, and the spirit are deeply connected. In many ways, they are like the three legs of a stool. If one leg is weak or out of balance, the stool will not stand properly. Similarly, if we neglect any one of these aspects in our lives, our whole being becomes unstable. The mind is the seat of our thoughts, our desires, and our dreams. It is where our worries often arise, where anxieties take root, and where the weight of the past lingers. If we allow the mind to become overburdened with distractions, fears, and regrets, we lose our sense of inner peace. Buddhism teaches that to achieve true happiness, we must first master the mind. This is not an easy task, but it is possible with practice. Through mindfulness and meditation, we can learn to quiet the mind, to let go of negative thoughts, and to embrace the present moment. In the stillness of the mind, we can hear the whispers of our true selves. The body, too, plays a critical role in our well-being. Our physical health is often a reflection of our inner state. When we neglect our bodies, we invite illness, fatigue, and discomfort. But when we care for our bodies with love and respect, we create a foundation of strength. The Buddha taught the importance of moderation in all things. This includes the way we care for our physical selves. It is not enough to simply eat well or exercise regularly. We must also listen to our bodies and honor their needs. True strength comes from the balance between effort and rest, action and relaxation. The body is not something to be abused or neglected, but something to be nurtured and appreciated. The spirit is the deepest part of us. It is the part that connects us to something greater than ourselves, the universe, nature, or the divine. When we nourish our spirits, we tap into an endless well of strength and wisdom. But if we ignore the spirit, we feel disconnected, lost, and empty. Buddhism teaches that the spirit is nourished through acts of kindness, compassion, and selflessness. When we serve others and seek to alleviate their suffering, we strengthen our own spirit. When we cultivate gratitude, our spirits are lifted. And when we embrace the interconnectedness of all beings, we discover a deep sense of peace and belonging. Balancing the mind, body, and spirit requires awareness and conscious effort. It is easy to become consumed by the demands of daily life and forget the importance of maintaining harmony within ourselves. But when we make it a priority to nurture each aspect of our being, we create a life of true balance. To begin, take a moment each day to check in with yourself. How is your mind? Are you filled with worries or distractions? Take a few deep breaths, and with each exhale, release the tension in your thoughts. Allow yourself to be present in the moment, free from the pull of the past or the future. Next, turn your attention to your body. How are you feeling physically? Are you tired, tense, or sluggish? Perhaps your body is calling for rest, nourishment, or movement. Listen to its signals and treat it with kindness. Give it the attention it deserves, whether through exercise, healthy food, or simple relaxation. Finally, check in with your spirit. Are you feeling connected to something greater? Are you nurturing your inner peace and joy? Spend time each day doing something that feeds your spirit. Whether it's meditation, prayer, a walk in nature, or helping others. By paying attention to your spirit, you cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment that transcends the material world. Remember, this balance is not something that happens overnight. It is a lifelong practice. But with consistent effort, you will begin to feel a deep sense of strength and peace within yourself. You will find that the mind becomes calmer, the body more energized, and the spirit more aligned with your true nature. As you walk through life, remember that balance is the key to happiness. Just as a tree needs both its roots and branches to grow, you need both your mind, body, and spirit to thrive. Each aspect supports the others, and together, they create a whole and harmonious being. If you find that one area is out of balance, take the time to restore it. If your mind is restless, meditate. If your body is tired, rest. If your spirit is drained, reconnect with your purpose. The path to inner strength lies in the simple act of balance. It is not about striving for perfection, but about finding harmony in the everyday moments of life. When you live in balance, you move through the world with grace and ease, no longer weighed down by the stresses of life. You become a source of calm and strength, not only for yourself but for those around you. This inner strength is the foundation of all true success. It is not based on external achievements or recognition, but on the quiet power that comes from within. When you are balanced, you are resilient, no matter what life throws your way. Challenges become opportunities for growth, and setbacks become lessons in patience and perseverance. So, take the time today to cultivate balance within yourself. Tune into the whispers of your mind, body, and spirit, and begin the journey of self-care. As you do, you will find that your life becomes clearer, more purposeful, and more peaceful. And with each day, you will feel your inner strength grow, aligning with your true purpose, living a meaningful life. In this life, every person is searching for something. Some seek success, others seek love, while some seek happiness. But beneath all these desires lies a deeper longing, the desire for purpose. Without purpose, life feels scattered, like leaves blowing aimlessly in the wind. With purpose, however, even the simplest actions become meaningful, and every step feels like part of a larger, beautiful journey. Imagine walking through a dense forest. The trees are tall, and the path is unclear. If you have no destination in mind, you will wander endlessly, unsure of where you are going. But if you have a map, even though the road may be challenging, each step becomes purposeful. The path may be difficult, but you know where it leads, and this gives you the strength to continue. In the same way, purpose is like a map in our lives. It gives us direction, clarity, and motivation. Without it, we are like the lost traveler in the forest. But with it, we find meaning in even the hardest times, and the journey itself becomes fulfilling. Buddhism teaches us that purpose is not something to be found outside of ourselves. It is already within us, waiting to be discovered. The distractions of the world often make it difficult to connect with our true purpose. We get caught up in the noise, the demands of daily life, the opinions of others, and the desires of our minds. But if we can quiet the noise, if we can look within, we will find that our purpose is already there, like a seed waiting to grow. The key to uncovering our true purpose is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just about being present in the moment. It is about being aware of who we are and what truly matters to us. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to listen to the whispers of our heart. We begin to see where our energy naturally flows and what brings us peace, joy, and fulfillment. These are the clues that guide us toward our purpose. The path to purpose is not always straightforward. Sometimes, it feels like we are walking in circles, unsure of where to go next. But this, too, is part of the journey. Every step, every challenge, and every detour teaches us something valuable. In fact, the struggles we face often reveal our deepest strengths and passions. It is through overcoming obstacles that we come to understand who we truly are. One of the greatest obstacles to living with purpose is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown can hold us back from taking the steps we need to find our true calling. But fear is not something to be avoided. It is something to be embraced. Buddhism teaches us that fear is not our enemy, but our teacher. It shows us where we are stuck and what we need to let go of. When we face our fears with courage and compassion, we free ourselves from their grip. Living with purpose also requires us to cultivate patience. The journey to purpose is not a race. It unfolds slowly, like a flower blooming over time. We cannot rush it, nor can we force it. We must trust that, in due time, the path will become clear. Each moment of stillness, each moment of uncertainty, is an opportunity for growth. The more we learn to be patient with ourselves, the more we allow our true purpose to emerge naturally. One of the most profound lessons in Buddhism is the idea of interconnectedness. Our purpose is not something that exists in isolation. It is deeply connected to the world around us. We are not separate from others, but part of a greater whole. Our purpose is to contribute to the well-being of others and the world, just as others' purposes are interconnected with ours. This understanding of interconnectedness helps us find meaning in our actions, no matter how small they may seem. When we live with purpose, we become more than just individuals seeking personal success. We become part of a collective effort to bring peace, compassion, and love into the world. Our purpose becomes a way of being, not just something we do. It is in every word we speak, every action we take, and every relationship we nurture. Our purpose is to be fully present in the world, contributing to the greater good with every breath. It is easy to become distracted by the idea of success as the world defines it. We are taught that purpose means achieving something great, reaching the top, or gaining recognition. But Buddhism reminds us that true purpose is not about external achievement. It is about inner fulfillment. It is not about what we have, but who we become. Success is not measured by the amount of wealth we accumulate or the titles we hold, but by the peace and contentment we feel within ourselves. To align with our true purpose, we must also be willing to let go of the things that no longer serve us. This can be difficult because we often hold on to old beliefs, habits, and attachments that weigh us down. But Buddhism teaches that to find true freedom, we must release what binds us. Letting go of these attachments creates space for our true purpose to emerge. It is like clearing the clutter from a room so that the light can shine through. Another important aspect of living with purpose is the ability to stay true to ourselves. In a world full of distractions and influences, it can be tempting to follow the paths of others. But true fulfillment comes from honoring our own unique journey. No one else can define our purpose for us. Only we have the power to discover it, to nurture it, and to live it. The practice of self-compassion is also essential in aligning with our true purpose. We must be kind and patient with ourselves, especially when things don't go as planned. There will be moments of doubt, moments when we feel lost or unsure. But instead of criticizing ourselves, we must offer ourselves compassion. Buddhism teaches that we are all deserving of love and kindness, especially in our times of struggle. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we create a space for our purpose to unfold with ease. Purpose is not something we achieve once and for all. It is something we continuously align with throughout our lives. As we grow, as we change, our purpose may evolve as well. What is important is that we remain open to the process of discovery. The journey is never over, and each day brings new opportunities to step into our purpose more fully. In the end, living with purpose is not about reaching a final destination. It is about the way we live each day. It is about the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the way we show up in the world. When we align with our true purpose, life becomes a beautiful expression of who we are, a natural flow of peace, love, and kindness. So, as you continue on your journey through this life, remember that your purpose is not something distant or elusive. It is already within you, waiting to be discovered. Trust yourself, trust the process, and allow your purpose to unfold in its own time. The world needs your unique gifts, and as you step into your true purpose, you will find fulfillment beyond measure. A new you in 2025, embodying change and inspiring others. Dear Seeker, as we come to the final part of this journey, let us reflect on everything we have shared and learned. Each word spoken, each thought stirred, has been a step toward awakening the best version of yourself. This is not just the end of a series. It is the beginning of your transformation. Now, let me ask you, what will you do with all the wisdom you have gained? Will you let it sit like seeds on barren soil? Or will you plant them, nurture them, and let them grow? You have come so far, but the real journey begins now, with your choices, your actions, and your heart. Buddhism reminds us that true change is not a loud revolution. It is a quiet unfolding. It is the small acts of kindness, the moments of mindfulness, and the courage to be authentic in a world that often pulls us in so many directions. This is how you embody change, by living it every single day. Imagine this. A single candle in a dark room may seem small, but it changes everything. That candle doesn't need to shout to be noticed. Its light speaks for itself. Similarly, as you step into 2025, let your actions shine. Let your presence inspire. The most profound transformations do not come from words, but from how you live your life. But how can you ensure this change lasts? The answer is simple: practice. Change is not a single decision. It is a daily discipline. Begin each morning with a moment of gratitude. Reflect on the things you have, no matter how small. Let this gratitude guide your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. When challenges arise, and they will, do not see them as obstacles. See them as teachers. Life's difficulties are not here to break you. They are here to shape you. When you stumble, remember, falling is not failing. Rising again is where your strength grows. As you walk this path, remember to let go. Let go of grudges. Let go of comparisons. Let go of the idea that you must be perfect to be worthy. Buddhism teaches us that clinging is the root of suffering. The moment you release what no longer serves you, you create space for what truly matters. Surround yourself with those who lift you up, who remind you of your light when you forget it. And for those who bring negativity into your life, practice compassion, but do not let their shadows dim your glow. Boundaries are not walls. They are acts of love, for yourself and for others. In 2025, focus not on what you lack, but on what you can give. True fulfillment comes not from taking but from sharing. Offer kindness, even when it's not returned. Speak words of encouragement, even when others are silent. Every small act ripples outward in ways you cannot see, touching lives you may never know. And here's the most important truth: you are enough. Right here, right now, as you are. You do not need to become someone else to find peace and joy. All the wisdom you need is already within you. You are not broken. You are blooming. Now, let us take a moment to reflect. Close your eyes if you can, and breathe deeply. Inhale possibility. Exhale doubt. Feel the weight of expectations lift from your shoulders. In this moment, there is nothing to fix, nothing to achieve. There is only you, present, alive, and ready. Remember, dear one, the journey is not just about you. As you grow, you become a guide for others. Your light becomes a beacon for those still searching in the dark. Do not underestimate the power of your example. As we close, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, not just for this series but for yourself. The world needs more people like you. People willing to look within, to grow, to shine. And before we part ways, I have one small request. Did you know that while so many have watched this series, only 0.2% of viewers have subscribed? Imagine how much further this message could go if more people joined us. If you found value here, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps keep this light burning bright and spreading far. This is not goodbye. The wisdom of Buddhism reminds us that every ending is simply a new beginning. As you step into 2025, carry these lessons with you. Live them, share them, and remember, the path to a better you starts with a single step, and you've already taken it. Go forth, dear one, with courage, with kindness, and with an open heart. The new you is already here, waiting to shine. Now is the time to embrace it fully. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until we meet again, walk gently, live wisely, and shine brightly.